Hey everybody, it's me over Jones back with a new video. Today I want to talk about the skill and art of sewing. um, before SHTF and even possibly during. Now, I understand that sewing is not really all that interesting maybe to some people, but it does have its applications. If you think about if you get into there are situations where like I talked about in my previous video on aprons. You want to make sure that your clothing, they don't receive any unnecessary wear, but the wear and tear does happen. So if you ever have something that where you have holes in your socks, or you get a rip in your pants, a tear in your shirt, or maybe one of your molly webbing straps come loose, you want to be able to repair it, and that's where sewing comes in. Normally, what I do is a lot of things that I've sewn by hand. I've had situations where I had to mend socks. I guess not really a situation, but just natural occurrences. Clothing tears. Everything wear. There's always wear and tear with something, but you always want to make sure that you can maintain it. And so, like when I have hole in my socks, I'm normally I watch some prepping videos either by Main Prepper. I remember he had that series when the walls came tumbling down. I remember watching it while I was mending my socks. I figured it was an appropriate activity to do for such entertainment. But sewing does really has a lot of benefits. For those of you who don't sew, it may not be anything that's interesting, but I do ask you to at least look into it, at least get into the basics. I start off with this, just using a regular needle and thread. A lot of things that I had to work on to where I was able to graduate to using one of these. Now, this is a sewing machine I just actually got. Funny thing, a friend of mine who's worked with some people, and this lady, she had a sewing machine that apparently she didn't, one of the foot pedal wouldn't come up, and so she thought it was broken, so she gave it to him, and which he in turn gave to me along with the manual and accessories. Well, turns out all you have to do is, lift this lever, and this foot pedal comes up. So I practically got a sewing machine with manual and accessories for nothing, other than someone missing up an opportunity to investigate what was wrong with, if there was anything wrong with their piece of equipment. But a sewing machine is I understand that it's not something, not everyone needs a sewing machine, but if you have the space and, if it's something you wanted to get into, a sewing machine's not a bad investment. I'm not sure how old this one is. It says Sears Kenmore, so I think it has an all, I don't think it's aluminum. I believe it's maybe a magnesium alloy body. It's fairly heavy, but I imagine them being, quite affordable nowadays. But it's not a bad tool to have. In fact, I will show you in just a second some of the things I made with using the sewing machine. But sewing is really good for fixing your clothing when, like I said before, when you get tears. Let's say you're doing you're doing some outdoor activity, whether it be clearing debris or tending to some plants, or working on your car, things like that, and something rips. Well, you don't want to just let it keep ripping. Especially if you're in no condition to actually replace it, whether it be financial or rough environments or what have you. So, and if you have any time, you may able to take the time to fix it. Don't trash it, fix it. Fix it. It's still good. It just has a little damage done to it. So I encourage you out there who don't know how to sew to just give it a try. Like I said, I started off with this, and think of all the good things we got from sewing, like patches from Mil-Spec Monkey. Over here, I'm gonna show you some of the things I made from sewing. So I'm gonna zoom in. If you see that bag, it says U.S. Mint, and what it was is I used to work at a place that had a vault. And so they had all these bank bags, and I guess they didn't need them anymore. They were going to trash them. I asked them, well, can I take them back with me? They're made of canvas, I figured they could be of good use. Let me zoom out just real quick. Let me show you that this is a bag I actually made by hand. This stitching right here was done by hand. That was done by hand. I did all of this. Actually, I did most of this at work. I was bored and didn't really have much to do. I used to work in the office, so I would make stuff like this. The only thing I've used a sewing machine for was at my grandparents' house. They have a sewing machine, and that was for this shoulder strap. You see, it goes all the way around. Yeah, that's just some rough work I did myself. Made the flap. Close it right over the bag, like that. I've used this for holding shotgun shells. This bag will actually hold two 25 round boxes of shotgun shells, and it's come in handy for storage. It's come in handy for when I'm going out shooting with some friends outside, and it may come in handy someday in the future. I hope I don't have to use it for what I think I may have to use it for, but at least I have it. At least I know how to make it, and at least I utilize a skill that has shown to have come in handy. I'll show you one other thing. A friend a while back gave me an ammo can that had some goodies in it. It had a 1911 magazine inside of it. Take a seat real quick. A 1911 magazine inside of it. Whoops. And it had this bandolier. Well, the bandolier, the elastic was all worn out. I had a friend who worked inside of a shoe shop, and they had a sewing machine, and so she let me use the sewing machine to make this bandolier. I got some elastic, dyed it black. Got some pieces of leather, some old pieces of leather, and secured the ends, keep it from fraying. And then I made all the right measurements, started stitching. So I used the sewing machine for each pass. Secured the ends on this main strap. Oh, and also I made a buckle from a piece of wire. So it shows how using what's around you can come to your advantage. You can things that it's a good skill to have. If things are becoming in short supply, you want to be able to use what's around you to the best of your ability. And for me, I was able to take this this useless shotgun shell bandolier and refurbish it to where it became I can hold shells now. I've had this bandolier for I'd say maybe about 2 years. That's it. Made by hand. A lot of it came from learning how to sew. So I encourage, like I said, I encourage others out there to learn new skills while you can. Learn how to utilize them in your day-to-day life, and you'll be better able to employ them should the need arise. Where like I said, if you have damaged piece of clothing, damaged tent, or you want to learn how to make some gear. But that's my video. Please leave any comments in the comment section, or if you got any personal messages you want to send me, please feel free to do so. My email is em1897jones@gmail.com. I've only asked you to be civil to the other people who are leaving comments in the comment section. I'm Edward Jones, and thank you for watching my video.